gods. This is the first time in 200 years I've seen these streets in the sunlight. You can forget just how much color there is in the world. Yes, of course. Obviously. Sorry, did you want something?
The bustle here takes some getting used to. Crackling fire and a tresson for company is usually more my speed. Still, we must flow with the current we find ourselves in, however tumultuous it may be. If you've need of me, I'm glad to help.
I made it back. I'm here. Thank the gods. Thank the gods.
Yes? I have. And while I do not love my conclusion, that does nothing to change it. The Harpers are the city's best information network. With them out of action, we shall have to fall back on second best. Nine Fingers Keen.
A name known and feared throughout the city's underworld. The mysterious Keen runs the guild, which in turn runs every criminal enterprise in the city.
Friend is not the word I'd use. Nor is petty if you've a mind to keep your tongue. But both our operations step outside the law when needful. She just likes it better there. How hospitable she will be to a Harper that comes begging to her guild hall, we will find out. Perhaps I will let you do the talking. Ask it. You speak of a battle more than a century past. Baal's minions led us through a maze in the Undercity, older than Baldur's Gate itself. We paid little mind to the path ahead, let alone how we might return, or that we would return at all. Still, the Undercity shifts. We might search down there. Or better yet, find a ballast to lead us. I've learned not to unpick the legends so many have woven around our name. Seeing the hope die in a romantic's eyes, it is only funny the first few dozen times. Some call the Harpers heroes. Others, petty meddlers who cannot help but stick their nose into every conflict they stumble across. The truth is in there somewhere. We try to work towards a common balance. If every other faction finds us equally annoying, that is probably a sign that we are succeeding. Ha! No. No, thank you. Let the wiser members of my order wrinkle their brows over that particular phrase. In all my years fighting for the Harpers, I am still never certain what the greater good means. I've learned to be content with, well, that was not so bad as it might have been. I will not bore you with a long tale. The short. I was born to a high family in Tedir. I remember little except that when my family fell, they fell far and fast. I learned young what fear and hunger make desperate people do. I learned to do some of it myself even. Until a roving circle of hedge druids found me. They raised me in the wild. But when it became clear I was perhaps not suited to a life of idle reflection, I was sent to the Harpers. To do. They showed me how to fight with sword, as well as spell, and gave me ample causes to wield them for. If I was not always the truest believer in every cause, well, I fell in love with someone who was. And that is almost the same thing. No, not really. You might say that. I left their service and swore never to return. Multiple times, if I recall. It is easy to get tired of the intrigue. The high causes shrouded in secrecy. I thought I might find another way to be of use to the world. And for a time I did. But my comrades would use a rather irritating phrase. A harper never leaves the chorus. She simply goes to spread the song. Meaning that whatever cause I turned my hand to, there I would find them. Harpers, stuffed with their own virtue, but always there. Always trying to help. So I returned to the fold. Returned to the city. Eventually they hung a title around my neck. High Harper. And I still do not know how to play one. If I wanted to spare Geraldus the same headaches, well, you now know why I needed him to be sure this is the life he wants. But you're staring. Which means the tadpole has finally eaten your brain. Or have I been talking too much? Either way, time to move, no?
This is the city proper, is it? I didn't expect it to be so outrageously ordinary.
Murder, oppression, conspiracies. This city has its charms, after all. My mother visited during one of her grand tours of the surface world. She claimed the streets were almost as varied and full of danger as those in Duthcloim. I never believed her until now. He is the only authority figure in Baldur's Gate worth a damn. Even as the Elder Brain tears at the foundations of the city, he stands strong and looks for solutions. Better for us to be a solution rather than a problem for his steel watch to scrape off the street. It would be wise to return to him and pledge an oath of allegiance before he declares us enemies of the peace.
I received a dispatch from the Grove. Life carries on there in our absence, just as nature intended. My chosen successor, Francesca, has proven to be a wise choice. Perhaps the wisest I ever made as Archdruid. The Shadow Druids. Their scheming was stopped, thanks to you, yet their malign ideals can find purchase and live on, even after the instigators themselves are vanquished. Francesca has found some initiates still yearn for the false promises the Shadow Druids peddled. She has been working hard to show them the error of their ways. She is well suited to the task. Better than I, perhaps. To cleanse a land of shadows is one thing, but to sway a heart from a dark path is another matter entirely. I was all too eager to surrender my responsibilities towards the Grove. Perhaps I was never meant to be Archdruid, to be a leader. Still, though, I cannot help but wonder if there was more I could have done. Perhaps, Oakfather willing, I may yet have the chance someday. Forgive me. The Shadow Curse occupied me so entirely and for so long. I almost missed the purpose it gave me. Now I must find a new one.
Baldur's Gate. You know, I never quite believed I'd actually make it back. Wasn't until we got within reach of Worm's Crossing that it felt real. It's so strange. I don't remember much of it, yet I can't help feel like I know it. It feels like home. I suppose it is. Though the chance to savor the moment might be brief, given all that still lies ahead of us. I may have to rely on your local knowledge to plug the gaps in my own mind. Hopefully, I'll remember more than I expect to.
Welcome to the Lower City, where Baldur's Gate truly comes alive.